Did you know that 1 out of 3 children in the United States are either obese or overweight? What? That cannot be true. Yes, I am afraid so. Did you also know that the percentage of children overweight or obese in the US has tripled in the past 30 years? I mean, what's the big deal? So what if some children are a little chubby? Let me explain to you the risk factors associated with childhood obesity. To start, some of the short-term effects include being at risk for cardiovascular diseases, high cholesterol and high blood pressure, bone and joint problems, sleep apnea, and social or psychological problems, stigmatization and poor self-esteem. While those sound like terrible things, I can't believe that. Yes. And I have only just begun. The long-term effects of this growing epidemic include increased risk for cancers such as breast, colon, endometrial, esophagus, kidney, pancreas, gallbladder, thyroid, ovary, cervix, and prostate. Furthermore, they are at risk for type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and osteoarthritis. Jeez Louise! What on earth can we do to solve this awful crisis our country is in? Well, since children spend the majority of the hours of their days in a school setting, it is where they develop most habits they possess. Furthermore, it is where they consume most of their meals throughout their childhood. School lunch programs are one of the leading causes of this obesity epidemic. Hence, why it is most logical to start this public health intervention within the schools of our country. Yes, I suppose that could work. But what would this public health intervention entail? There will be 3 recommendations for action. First, the schools need to create their lunches so that they are consistent with the dietary guidelines for Americans. Second, they must abolish the sale of junk foods in vending machines and within the cafeterias. Third, they must increase the promotion of healthy food items. Junk food. Dietary guidelines for Americans? What the heck do those things mean? Junk food is classified by a food item with little to no nutritional value. Examples include cookies, cakes, soda, French fries, pizza, sugary drinks. DGA stands for Dietary Guidelines for Americans. The DGA recommends a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and fat-free and low-fat dairy products for persons aged 2 years or older. They also recommend that children, adolescents, and adults limit their intake of solid fats, cholesterol, sodium, added sugars, and refined grains. You mentioned before schools would need to create some kind of incentive for students to choose healthy food options. How could they go about doing so? Well, it is simple really. An example of an incentive would be as follows. Half-off salad days or a free drink with the purchase of a whole grain sub roll. There are many ways healthy foods can be promoted. I love sub sandwiches. They are so yummy. Yes they are. Anyways, what I find to be unsettling is that currently, only 8% of schools base their food menu off a nutritional guideline. This is because they tend to base it off quantity and cost rather than nutrient and energy-dense foods. Wow, that is terrible. I cannot believe schools would not want to base their food distribution off a nutritional guideline. No wonder so many children are so overweight. Well, initially they just wanted to budget their money to use for academic purposes rather than food services. It is hard for the school districts because our country makes it more economically affordable to purchase the processed choices rather than the fresh and healthy foods. Did you also know this the first time in history that this next generation of children will have a shorter life expectancy than their parents due to the obesity issue? Such a frightening fact. Oh my God. This issue needs to be resolved before it gets worse. Yes, that is precisely the issue. We need to put an end to this awful epidemic. I now understand why schools would be the ideal place to implement this health policy. It is because they spent so much time and form majority of their habits there. If there was an influence on eating healthy choices, it would instill healthy habits early on. It just all makes so much sense now. Good. I am glad you finally understand how serious of an issue this is. I am confident if schools implement this 3-tier policy, our country's child obesity level will start to drop. Yes, I agree. This will help reverse childhood obesity one lunch at a time. Yes, one lunch at a time.